everything, all the content I make, I record it live because I'm kind of lazy. And I record it all here on Twitch. It then goes to YouTube and sometimes Twitter and sometimes that den of inequity and horribleness known as Facebook. But more often than not, we're here on Twitch. It's Tuesday. It is the 2nd of March. Can you believe that? We are here today to review yesterday's WWE Raw from last night, that which was on the 1st of March 2021. This year's gone. That's a year of coronavirus already. Like, what the hell? But we're not here to talk about coronavirus. We're here to talk about last night's WWE Raw. So, I mean, right off the bat, I was surprised. WWE actually delivered on something. I'm like, what? But to get to that delivery, they made everyone sit through 3 hours of filler and a few good matches as well. We're going to get into this. The way I do these now is I watch Raw on a Tuesday morning, watch it right through, and write this review as I'm going on. I don't do these reviews as in depth as I do the AEW reviews. I'll sit and watch them a lot. WWE reviews, I'm not a massive fan of it, so I don't really follow it. Well, I do actually follow it now because I'm watching it every freaking week now. So I do actually kind of know what's happening now, which is cool. But yeah, I just kind of go over it, give you my views, tell you what I think of the show. And if anyone watching has any views, just let me know, because I want to know what is happening in this thing. Now, I can't remember how to get my chat open if I can do that. I don't know if people are watching or not. Let's hope they do. So yeah, let's get to start. Oh man, I've got the cookie message on my thing again. Let's just get rid of that. Let's get right to business. So the show started with Drew McIntyre coming out and cutting a promo. In this promo, he spoke about Sheamus. He spoke about The Miz being the cockroach taking his belt. He said, interestingly, right, the line in this promo that stood out to me was Drew saying that he was on a mission to make the WWE Championship the best title in the world again, implying that the title was second best. Now, this is a really interesting line. I think people should maybe go back over it because, he was making the WWE. He was saying that the WWE Championship, which he held, was not the best championship in the world, alluding that is alluding to the fact that someone that is writing the show thinks either Raw is the B show or that WWE's wrestling is simply not the best wrestling on earth at this moment. Now, people could argue that Drew maybe just threw that in, that Drew's allowed freedom to say what he wants, but this is WWE. That's not how it works. That was scripted. That was written. He was told to say that. And yeah, he was told to say that the belt he was holding was the second best belt, which blew my mind, because why would you ever want to admit that? Like, even if you know you're not the market leader, you want to exude that feeling of market leadership. You don't want to be defeatist and say, look, we know we're not the best. People are way better than us, but we're trying. God bless us, we're trying. It's just, it just blows my mind, you know what I mean? It just blows my mind. So, Miz and Morrison then came out and cut just another Miz and Morrison promo. It was bland. It was poorly scripted. It was just there. It was just there. Miz is just like, meh, 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 meh. Of course, we know he's supposed to have a title shot tonight. But by God, did they string that out. We'll get to that soon. Yeah. After the Miz and Morrison came out, then MVP came out. MVP came out because obviously there's a title match coming out, and it's Bobby Lashley is getting his title shot tonight. So MVP came out and got into it about that, blah, blah, blah. Then Sheamus came out. Like I said, by this point, by the time that MVP had said his bit, he was actually, MVP's one of the, in my opinions, like currently, he's one of the best characters and performers on the show at the moment. His character is not made to look stupid, and he's consistently good. Like, I think MVP probably goes under a lot of people's radars. He's in that like management role, but no, watch his character, watch how he acts, watch how his character is treated. It's on point. He's one of the few consistent characters, and he's really, really good. But yeah, Then Sheamus came out, and by this point I was like, what the fuck is going on, man? And of course, Sheamus has went back to his old gimmick. He doesn't have the hat, he doesn't have the taped fists. He's not trying to be the gypsy boxer from Snatch anymore, which actually annoys me, because I fucking loved that gimmick. But yeah, Sheamus came out, he spoke a bit, and then, thankfully, a match started. Now, I wrote it was a half-decent match. This was actually much more than a half-decent match. This was actually a cracking big man versus big man match. I bloody loved this match. I'm being positive about Raw, can you believe that? There was a spot where Sheamus was like straight suplexed into a table that didn't break. It looked fucking brutal. And I'm not talking like horizontal wise, so his body lay like flat across the table. I'm talking the table was that way, he went that way, like a fucking crucifix. It looked like it sucked. It was savage. There was another one, I can't remember, I think Sheamus got bodied onto the table as well. The table just would not break. I don't know what happened. For some reason, this week we had the sturdiest ringside announcer table in the history of wrestling. But yeah, it was a grueling match. It was savage. It was as stiff as it gets. I loved it. This is the sort of grit I like in wrestling. And we really, really needed a good match after that fucking shambles of an opening segment. So I was happy for this match. It was really good. I mean, when I was watching it, right, I had this feeling that this should have been the main event match. This was the main event. This was their Mania match. So, like, cast your minds back. I can't remember what year it is. Maybe 2007, 12. I can't remember. I'm bad with years. But CM Punk and John Cena were supposed to face at WrestleMania, but then everything got changed about. I think The Rock was involved, and they ended up having their match on Raw a few weeks prior to the WrestleMania event. And the match they had was, to this day, probably the best match that ever happened on WWE Raw. CM Punk busted out a pile driver on Cena at points. Cena's doing hurricanranas. It was like amazing. And this match had that sort of vibe to it. It didn't feel like a Raw. It didn't feel like a television match. You know what I mean? This felt like a pay-per-view match. And this, to me, it had that this should have been our WrestleMania match vibe. You know what I mean? It wasn't as epic as the famous Punk and Cena match. It's never going to be as epic as that. That match is like fucking amazing, but it was up there. This was not a regular Raw match, and it really felt like it meant something. Even though we know there's no titles on the line or nothing, it really felt like it meant something. Both men wanted to win, and it was really good. In the end, Drew won. The finish was really nice. I really liked this finish. Both men were going for their big boot finishers. Obviously, one of Sheamus' finishes is the brogue kick. Drew's is the Claymore, so they both went for it, and just Drew's longer leg just hit Sheamus first. It was brilliant how they did it. Drew stood tall at the end, but he looked sad. He had that look on his face like, come on, I want us to be buddies again. This shouldn't have happened. That was a really good match. It was a really, really, really good match. I had nothing but good things to say about that match. So at this point, we see Naomi backstage. She's confronted by Nia Jax. Apparently, it turns out there is a match with Nia Jax and Naomi coming up next. Nia Jax matches, yeah! We are told there is 10 minutes to the Miz versus Bobby Lashley title match. This is going to become a common theme throughout the show. So yeah, we're told there's 10 minutes to that match, but we're also told there's another match coming up. So I guess this Nia Jax match is going to be quick. Now, this annoyed me during the show. They did this a few times. They had the show booked. They're like, oh, the main event's going to be here. Then something wouldn't happen. Then instantly they've got a match booked. It's like, shouldn't you be scrambling for matches here? Your card's getting fucked up every 5 minutes. This doesn't make sense. Well, that's just me. I think too much. So yeah, Naomi makes her entrance to the ring. And I get that. Like, I had a question here. Like, what is Naomi's gimmick other than she's a really good wrestler? Like, is she supposed to be like a raver, or like is she someone that like was lasers or just bright colors? Like, this is a question we've never had answered, you know? Like, it's all very well, yeah, I like glowing, I like bright colors, I like bright colors too, I like lasers too, but like, there's more to this. I feel there's a part of Naomi's character we've never been told, and I really want to know what it is. I don't know. I do not know. And what's Nia's gimmick? That she's a wrestler, because if it is, she's failing miserably at that. By fuck. She is so slow and boring. I'm watching this match, and I swear that the ring moves faster and more often than Nia Jax does when she's in a match. It's boring as shit. Nia eventually beat Naomi clean. That was it. I should mention that Lana was at ringside with Naomi. Nothing happened from that. Nia gave Lana a few dirty looks from the ring, so I think they're probably still working towards that Lana versus Naomi match at WrestleMania. Okay, I don't know. Move on. Naomi got beat. That was it. I didn't really care much about what was happening in the rest of that. It was there. It was a Nia Jax match. Don't expect big things to come from this. Next up, we got a very quick video. Rhea Ripley is on her way to Raw. Poor woman. That poor woman. That's what I've got. That's what I've written here. She should have been on the show a year ago. It feels like they have wasted a year of her career when she could have been on fire. So that's why I say poor woman. I mean, she works for WWE. She's still getting that money. Who's laughing at who? But I mean, me, like many other people, think that this could have happened a year ago. She could have been on top now. But they chose to go with the WWE booking. That's just it. Rhea Ripley is coming to Raw. So that should be good, because she's a really good wrestler. She's a really good character. Nothing but good things. So we are at 9 PM Eastern Time now. Miz versus Lashley is about to happen. I can't believe this. I couldn't believe this was happening at the start of the second hour and not the main event or the start of the third hour or the end of the third hour. Which, to be honest, this was a big alarm for me that this is going to be stretched out for the whole fucking show, and it was. Because who books a main event at the top of the first hour? I mean, I know that WWE if WWE did book it like that, that would have been a symbol that they really have stopped caring about the third hour. But actually, this show exists as one giant push to boost ratings in that third hour, and this all becomes apparent later on. So, yeah, I can't believe the main event was it now, but it wasn't. So, we'll just get that out of the way now. Lashley came out to the ring, and then after a long pause, the Miz's music played, but the Miz did not appear. The Miz was backstage. He was on the deck. He was holding his belly, and at this point, I've wrote in my notes, I fucking called this on Twitter yesterday. Shock horror. Miz is pretending he's ill. Now, I said on Twitter yesterday that Miz is going to pretend he's ill and somehow get out of the match that way. What happened was they did every excuse in this show and resolved it, but then eventually got to the match. So, yeah. Miz is backstage. He's got stomach cramps. He's feigning that he has the shits. Now, what shocked me here, right? I've worked in workplaces as a manager, supervisor. I understand HR. I understand how you're meant to treat people at work. You know, people have rights, especially when they're ill. Now, Adam Pearce comes into this scene, right? And Adam Pearce is the Miz's boss, right? He's the one that's got to look after his well-being. And he tells Miz, who's doubled over in supposed agony, you have an obligation. You're going to have the match. Like, the man's fucking sick. Like, what the fuck? What boss would act like this? It's like, could you imagine you're at work and you're like, start being sick. You're like, oh Lord, I feel like I'm going to shit myself. I need to go home. It's like, oh sorry, you've got an obligation. Stand at that desk and do work. You start shitting your pants at work. But you've got an obligation. You better. That's not how the workplace works. Not even in America does the workplace work like that. I mean, come on, the fuck. It's like the worst management ever. He's actually beyond worst management ever. He is a total fucking. His character is a total fucking prick for sending ill people out to work in wrestling matches. What the fuck? What the fuck, man? Lashley seen this, started running backstage. Miz is just saying he needs more time with me, needs more time. But before he can actually get more time, Lashley finds him, pushes him over. Miz is now decked. Adam tells the now semi-conscious Miz that he will defend the belt at 10 PM. He's unconscious! The guy's, he could be seriously hurt. He's maybe got a concussion, but no, Adam Pearce like, get the fucking work, boy. I'm gonna crack that whip, son. By God. So, that was the end of the first attempt at the title match. This happened once an hour. We've got 3 hours to fill, and they did this once every fucking hour. I am not even joking you on that. So, next up, Braun cutting a promo. Yeah, fuck our collective lives on this one. If there is one thing I would gladly cut out of my life, it is listening to that 7-foot-tall dildo misread, shite, scripted shit that was written by his geriatric boss. I mean, last week he told us he was fucking clarified. Clarified. I'm clarified. It's like, dude, you're not clarified. You don't know what that means. Hard pass on this shit. I'm just sorry. Like, the only saving grace is at least he tidied his shit away before appearing on camera this time, innit? Sorry, but I just don't. I'm not a fan of Braun Strowman. I think he fucking sucks in the ring. I think his character in and out of the ring comes across as a complete dipshit. And that's just me. Hard pass. Shane and Boss of the Year Adam Pearce came out. This led to Shane forcing Braun to team with Adam Pearce for a match later on. When I say later on, it was like 2 minutes later for the Raw Tag Team title. And yes, this is exactly the same story that put Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler together. Shane tells Braun to stop being so myopic. Like, Shane also kept going on about conflict resolution. And I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? Is this like The Office or something? Like, this is just stupid. I maybe went a bit hard on Braun there. I don't know him personally. I've been that far away from Braun before when I was working at a WWE show last in 2019, which is pretty cool. He is actually really big, and to be honest, I wouldn't mess with him face to face because, I mean, what? I'm like 6 foot tall. He was up there. He was like that much. He was like that much higher than me, and yeah, he is built like a brick shit house. So I'll say all this on the internet, but I'm being a complete fucking camera warrior. So I will admit to that. Braun, I guess I've just went too far there. Please don't kill me. So yeah, Shane tells Braun to stop being myopic. It's like, who the fuck's writing this stuff? This whole angle is just dumb. And I feel bad. Like, we've got to remember, right, I'm sitting slating Braun Strowman, but this, like, the character of him being a 7-foot-tall fucking idiot, that is the character that WWE are actually giving him. This is the character WWE have written for Braun Strowman. They are making him look like an idiot. Like, actively making him look like an idiot on TV. This is why I have the perception that he's in... Well, I mean, there's also that whole issue with the photo and him deleting it. But there's that other stuff. Now, one thing I will say about Braun Strowman is, have you seen how fucking shredded that man is just now? Oh my god. He's got muscles on top of muscles on top of muscles in places I didn't even know muscles existed. He is a specimen of a fucking man. That is ridiculous how shredded he is. Now, I feel that I have now dissed him enough and bigged him up enough to where I'm not going to die if I ever see him. So let's move on. This segment rolled in to Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, the Hurt Business versus Braun Strowman and Adam Pearce, with Shane McMahon at ringside. I mean, are they really running that low on talent that we've got to put Adam Pearce with Braun? Now, a lot of people watching don't actually know that Adam Pearce has a history in wrestling. He was actually, I don't know what he's like now, but in his 5 years ago, he was great. I'm pretty sure it was Adam Pearce that trained people like CM Punk and stuff like that, if I've got my names right. I might be off on that, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, no, he's a really good wrestler. But the WWE audience don't know him as a wrestler. They know him as this backstage character. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, are they really running that low on talent that we've got to, is there not someone else we could have put together with Braun? But I guess it was just for one match. I mean, who remembers when WWE took tag teams wrestling seriously? I wrote that, then I instantly remembered that, well, they've done it like once, so let's move on. The match was just stupid. Braun just ran through the Hurt Business. It was a giant versus two non-giants. Pearce just stood on the ring on the apron the whole time. He didn't come in the match. He wasn't even in wrestling gear. This was just basically a 2-on-1 squash with Braun doing the squashing against the Hurt Business. There was a little spot. The Hurt Business got one running spot thing in, but it led to absolutely nowhere, and Braun took control again. Braun had the match won, and then Shane McMahon pointed and made him tag Adam Pearson for some reason. This got Adam Pearce rolled up, and they lost the match. This was pointless. It fucking sucked. Do you care about this? Like, genuinely, do you care about this? I don't care about this. I don't care about Shane's story. I don't care about Adam Pearce's story. I don't care about Braun Strowman or this stupid workplace drama set piece they're attempting to ham their way through. This was crap. I mean, it wasn't wrestle crap, but it was crap. It just existed as a way to fill 5 minutes of screen time. Now, next up, we have a backstage segment. Now, this one was actually interesting for the symbolism. Now, what I'm going to do here is something I don't normally do. I'm going to make this very bigger for a second. Now, it's going to go out of the frame, but I need to show you. If you look above and behind Bad Bunny's head, right? Look what that sign says. Fan favourites. This is about as subtle as a fucking hammer. So, Bad Bunny and Damian Priest were backstage, and the Drifter, I've not seen him in ages, and some guy bump into him backstage. Now, the WWE really want you to know that Bad Bunny is not only a baby face, but he is a fan favourite, so they have had him stand next to a literal sign that says fan favourite. Sorry, why is that sign even there? Why is there a sign backstage randomly on the wall saying fan favourites? The term fan favourite in itself is quite a funny one in the one of wrestling. You'll often see the term fan favourite used in replacement of the word face, but in the public facing side of things, you know what I mean? Like if a wrestling company is wanting to subtly describe their workers, they'll be like, yeah, wrestler A, he's a mean man, he's doesn't play by the rules. Wrestler B, he's a fiery guy, he's a fan favourite. You know what I mean? It tells you that good guy, bad guy, good guy, good guy, bad guy. And WWE clearly want us to know that Bad Bunny and Damian Priest are the good guys. They're the fan favourites. I thought this was hilarious. This was fucking hilarious. And I really, really hope some of the other reviewers have spotted this bit, because it is so funny. I popped for that. I've not seen the Drifter on this show in ages. Does anyone care about the Drifter at this point? I mean, and also, who is the Drifter's boyfriend? I mean, are they in love? Is this his platonic heterosexual life partner? I need answers. Who is this guy? I'll find out later his name's Riker or something like that. He wasn't on Star Trek, but at least he has a cool name. So, I think the point of this backstage segment was the Drifter was trying to sign Bad Bunny up to do a crossover and have a single out. Whatever. It was just a way to lead into a match. They could have just had the match, but, you know, they've got to have a bit of storyline. You've got to have something. At this point, we are then told there is 34 minutes till the title match. Remember, it was 10 minutes before. Now, the timer started again. 34 minutes now. And don't worry, before we get to the end of this show, the timer starts again. So yeah, we get a match. The Drifter, Elias, and his life partner, Jace Jackson Riker, are in the ring for a concert or some crap like that. That is what I wrote in my notes. This then takes us to the match. It is Elias versus Damian Priest. We get that whole shitty promo bit about Elias being snubbed by the Grammys. It's just pish. It's just pish. I just wanted them to get to the match. And we did get to the match, thankfully. Damian Priest comes out with Bad Bunny. Interestingly, right, Damian Priest is teamed with Bad Bunny, right? It's a celebrity crossover. Yet, Damian Priest's theme song is not a Bad Bunny song. Sorry, what? Snoop Dogg teamed with Cody Rhodes once, and now Snoop Dogg does Cody Rhodes' theme music, and we've got a crossover here, but they can't even play a Bad Bunny song when Bad Bunny is coming into the ring with someone. Like, Why have the pop star there and not use any of his freaking music? Like, I don't understand that. I don't understand. It blows my mind that they've not done that. The match itself was just yawn. But, like, this just felt like filler. Just killing time till the title match. I wrote here, it was like, we're just killing time till the title match doesn't happen. As I wrote this, I had no clue what was going to happen, and I still don't know as I write this. I like writing it linear. I write my script in a way that just as I'm writing it. So, yeah. The match was way longer than it needed to be. It was a bit boring. It felt like they were trying to fill the whole 30 minutes leading up to the next title match. Priest is actually really cool. I really like Damian Priest. He's got a lot of potential. The match was sadly not his showcased match. He eventually hit his roundhouse kick, then the crossroads. That's what it is. It's fucking crossroads for the win. Moving on. So yeah, where we go. There's Damian Priest and that getting worked on. So we move on. First of all, we get a little promo showing last week in the start of the show, building for the main event. More filler, main event. Timers, you've got it. We're there. Miz versus Bobby Lashley, main event. Before we get to this Randy Orton segment, there was a quick little segment with Miz backstage. He is now in his ring gear, but he's still holding his belly. Now, I just thought here, it would be hilarious if he pulled a CM Punk and shit his trunks mid-match. I would pay to see that. I would pay to see Miz crap his pants on live TV. It would be disgusting, but it would be hilarious. I would probably be in tears if I seen something like that. That's maybe a damning indictment, a damning look in my brain. Come on. If someone poops their pants on live TV, it's funny. It's not really funny for them. It's funny for everyone else. Poop is funny. We then randomly... I say randomly, this happens every fucking week now. We go to the Randy Orton backstage interview. Randy, this week, is asked what he thinks about all this stuff that's happening to them. You know, with the bullshit magic stuff that happens every week on Raw now. He says he doesn't know what's happening, but he knows it's all Alexa's doing. This is the dumbest shit ever. I mean... This whole story is getting really fucking weird. Everything seems to be Alexa's fault. He knows it's all Alexa. Alexa's in his head. It's like Randy is turning into one of those weird guys on Instagram who gets obsessed with a hot girl and starts fucking stalking her and stuff like that. I mean, will we be hearing about Randy Orton lurking about outside fucking Alexa Bliss's house with a rope and a knife next? Like, this story is just weird as shit. I don't even think WWE know what they're doing with it or where they're going with it. It's just straight up weird. Other than obviously that the Fiend is coming back. Spoilers, he's not dead. Randy basically threatened to burn Alexa to a crisp if she kept messing with him, which led to her appearing on the screen and laughing with her pentagram box, which I'm guessing the box is the ashes of Bray Wyatt, the Fiend. I don't fucking know. This is just stupid. Hail Satan or whatever. Yes. I guess that's what we've got to take for that. It's Randy versus this Satan. I don't know. Just bring the Fiend back. Even the Fiend being stupid is way better than this shit. And then, just when you thought this couldn't get any stupider, this really, really, really jumped the fucking shark. Out of the shadows appears a hooded man. He takes the hood down, and it's Randy Orton. Randy looks shocked, like, oh, what the fuck? Why am I looking at a video of myself? And then Randy starts talking to Randy, but in a different voice. Randy is shocked, confused, as he can't remember recording this video. This is just fucking ridiculous. So, like, what? This is... Like, there's magic and stuff like that. But sorry, how can magic create another Randy Orton? Are we to believe that there is now a cloned Randy? Is there a Randy Orton clone now? Sorry, what? How can this happen? How can he not remember this happening? This is fucking stupid. This is so fucking stupid. This is beyond the pale stupid. It's intelligence insultingly bad. And as if this segment wasn't stupid enough, it all ends with Randy choking off screen. Now, he started choking and went off camera. I would imagine that he started spewing up that stupid blood shit, but thankfully he was off screen by then, so we don't know. Fuck this shit. By hell, it was bad. It's main event time, or so I thought. Is it main event time? I don't know. No, it's not main event time. I just had to check my notes again. So at this point, we had like 40 or so minutes of show time, not including adverts left. And I'm thinking this could go anyway. So this was supposed to be Lashley versus The Miz again. Before the match, Miz is in the match, in his gear, tries to talk, like, so I'm going to restart this segment again, right? So, we're in the ring for this match again, right? The match is happening again. Before the match, Miz, who's now in all his ring gear in that stupid red leather jacket and his fucking Miz headband, he just looks like a total fucking dildo, tries to talk his way out of the match that we're here to see, that we're in the ring, our way to have. He says that the match should be happening at WrestleMania in a men event. Whatever. MVP just tells the ref, look, shut up, just ring the bell. This match is happening. It's like I said before, I think MVP's the best character on this show. He's not an idiot. He's not not stupid. He just, straight up, just ring the bell. This is just stupid. Like, why would you not do that now? At this point, like, what I wrote here was hilarious. Because I was like, why does The Miz not just get himself counted out? And this is exactly what fucking happened. As soon as the bell rung, Miz grabbed the belt and just fucking ran with the wind. I was like, yes, common sense. This makes sense. I like it. So this was actually smart. Like I said, it made sense. I commended this one. They used the one bit of common sense they had to stretch this title match out over 3 hours. Not even joking you. So, it turned out that Lashley won this match, but Miz is still champion. So Lashley won the match by countout. Now, I actually thought this would be it. I thought at this point they were going to end it here. I fucking told you all, Miz is going to be the champ tonight. I was wrong. We end this show and Miz is not the champ. Backstage, we get to MVP speaking to Shane and Adam Pearce. MVP tells Shane that this is all quote unquote bullshit. He said shit. And Shane says the match will happen tonight. And if it doesn't happen, management will strip Miz of his title. I mean, it's all just so fucking stupid, isn't it? It's like, the whole reason for this stop, go, have the match is just to string this out over 3 hours. And it was at this point it became very apparent that WWE is loading the shit out of the 3rd hour of this show because I don't know how long it's been, but the standard pattern for WWE ratings is that the first hour does alright in relative speaking to current standards. The middle hour, the second hour will do okay. The 3rd hour always drops significantly. So what they seem to be doing here is they're telling a show-long story, which in itself is a really good idea. Although we've got to remember that it's a 3-hour-long show. That is a long time to follow a story through. Right? You know what I mean? It's hard to follow a story in a film for 3 hours. That's why people don't tend to watch 3-hour-long movies a lot. But they're trying it here. And yeah. So the match is going to be happening tonight. We are getting a main event. The Miz versus Lashley match is still on. It has been rescheduled for the 3rd time in the 3rd hour at the end of the show. We're going to get it. It's all a bit silly. But let's move on. So, we then get to Charlotte Flair coming out. Now, and this is where the way the show was booked and structured started annoying me, because is it not strange that they had this match booked, or this segment, whatever, already booked and ready to go for after what would be Raw's main event? Like, should the main event not be a long match that ends the show? Why have they got stuff booked for after the main event? It doesn't make sense, you know? They wouldn't have... If the main event didn't happen because someone cheated out of nowhere, they wouldn't have anything to go to. They would have to just scramble and put two people out for a random match. Maybe I'm thinking too much about this, and I probably am, but at the end of the day, they just needed to fill time. So we get a Charlotte Flair promo. The long and short of this is she wants to face Asuka at WrestleMania, which is fair enough. This should be a decent match, except we find out that Asuka can't accept the match because she's at home with a broken tooth. Now, this is taking shit too far, right? Cesaro had his teeth like broken and pushed into his gums and was back like the next day. Jericho had a tooth broken out, was wrestling the next day. Wrestlers get teeth knocked out. Getting a tooth knocked out is not a go home and stay home for 6 fucking weeks injury. Like, what? Asuka's meant to be solid. I'm pretty sure that losing a tooth is not that serious. But yeah, she's lost a tooth, not a fucking arm or a leg. And then, for some reason, Charlotte feels she can't challenge Asuka because she's not here. Is she forgetting she's on fucking national TV with a microphone on TV? Asuka has a television at home on the internet. She's even got a YouTube channel. I'm fairly sure that if Charlotte Flair said, Asuka, I want to face you for the title at WrestleMania, Asuka would see it and be able to respond in some sort of way. But apparently, we've got to believe that because Asuka's broken a fucking tooth, she can't accept it. It was just fucking stupid. Shayna and Nia then came out. I like Shayna. Shayna is a breath of fresh air. I wish we could just get Shayna beating up Charlotte in this segment. It would make me happy. Nothing against Shayna. Nothing against Charlotte. I just like seeing Shayna beat people up. Basically, Shayna and Nia started with the whole promo bit, which, again, it was like, come on, can we just get to some wrestling, please? And they're both saying, it's like, well, maybe one of us will face Asuka. We want to face Asuka. So basically, we come out of this whole segment that we don't know who's going to face Asuka, but Asuka is at home injured because she had a tooth knocked out. She's the first wrestler in the fucking planet who's had a tooth knocked out and is not selling it. Is not going on camera with a gap. That's what you do. It's fucking wrestling. It's an industry that thrives on injuries and gruesome shit and stuff that's not nice. If you lose a teeth, you go on TV and you stick your tongue through the gap. You show it off. You don't fucking hide it. But this is WWE, and they are hiding it. This led into a match. A match that went way too long. It was all just a bit shit. I mean, the match was actually okay. I'm going to stop that. The match was actually okay. With lots of good striking stuff and lots of good looking, nice stuff from Shayna. With loads of good pro wrestling from Charlotte. The stuff I notice is like, she really does like walk like her dad now. And like, when she just walks about outside the ring, her characteristics are very much like her dad, which can only be a good thing. Because there's a reason Ric Flair's known by many as one of the best ever. So it can only be a good thing. After some interference, or sorry, should I say some attempted interference by Nia, Charlotte won clean. It's WrestleMania season. We don't know who this is going to be in the main event. Do you care? WrestleMania, let's point some signs. I don't have any signs. The timer tells us we are 19 minutes from the title match now. Again, it's been reset again. You're 19 minutes away from the title match now. I forgot to flip this. Let's get some images. I do see. I got a lot further this week than I do normally, so that's cool. Next up, and again, we're in filler territory here because this is supposed to be where the main event was. Lucha House Party and Riddle versus Retribution. So, the Retribution's team this week was T-Bag, Gay Bar, and Fucknut. Why did WWE always do a slow-mo with Riddle kicking off his flip-flops? Like, I don't understand why WWE have such a boner over this one shot. I mean, it's fun, it looks cool, but is there nothing better that Matt Riddle does that can do a slow-mo? He's a really good wrestler. Yeah. When I heard 6-man, I heard this was a 6-man match, I was like, fuck yeah! I love 6 men. I love trios wrestling. This has potential. Then I saw Retribution in the ring. And I thought, fuck this. This is... Like, I have got no time for Retribution. It is the dumbest faction on the planet. Filled with the dumbest characters, with the dumbest names. And the dumbest dumb beef they've got with each other. So I skipped it. I skipped directly to the next segment, which happened to be Riddle versus Ali. So I don't know what happened with Ali, and I don't know what happened to the trios match, but it turned into Riddle versus Ali. I don't know or care to know what happened. Fuck Retribution. They are total horse shit. That is in my script. Now this match, again, this went way longer than I expected. Like, I'm watching this match and I'm like, okay, so we have only got 15 minutes of show time left. That's not including adverts. And they're telling us the main event is in 6 minutes time. So, at this point, I had a feeling the main event was going to be some sort of squash or screw job, or that something dumb was going to happen. I was kind of right and wrong, but we're going to get to that. Back to the match. Riddle won, but the Shitribution interfered to help Ali. Sorry, I will rephrase that. Riddle almost won, but the Shitribution interfered to help Ali get the win. I've got no idea what Ali's finisher was. It looked like he was going for some sort of like double stomp off the top rope, but fuck it looked terrible. It looked fucking horrible. I've got no idea what it was, but it got him the win over Riddle, over the US fucking champ. He only just become the champ 2 weeks ago, and he's getting beat by the leader of the fucking ridiculous jobber faction. Like, WWE is just so annoying sometimes. Like, and I need to move that back to place, or it's going to do my freaking head in. So yeah, that was that match. I've no idea. I mean, the finisher looked shit, and it got him the win over Riddle. So I guess that's pretty cool. People hoping the Retribution group would fuck off should probably brace for more, because it looks like the boss is getting a win and the rest of the team didn't fuck it up. So yeah, the worst faction in the face of wrestling is going to be staying about for longer, I think. Teabag, gay bar and fucknut, you've got a lot more road left in that trip. Jesus. So main event time. Oh no, wait, we're actually backstage again. At this point, there was only 5 minutes left of the show, and Shane is telling Miz he will defend the title tonight, but Shane hasn't figured out the stipulation of the match yet. I mean, what the actual fuck? They are really trying. They are milking. They milked every single minute of that last hour. Even the over. And I mean, this match basically happened within the overrun of the show. Milking it is not just, is like, doesn't even come close to what they did with this show. They're just desperately scraping for those third hour ratings by the look of it. Miz was gesticulating wildly, but it was pointless. At one point he looked like he was almost crying, saying the match should be at WrestleMania, he deserves respect, blah blah blah. It doesn't matter, it fell on deaf ears because the match is happening. And we actually, at the end of the third hour, get to the main event, which has been teased for literally 2 weeks, over 6 different hour segments of TV. And that show, it appears to be happening. So, for the third time, Miz and Bobby Lashley have full entrances. I mean, 3 times on the show, really? I would have been happy with them getting their entrances over the break and having the currently in the ring. Simply for the fact we've seen the entrances twice already, and it takes like 5 minutes every time. But it's a third time. So yeah, enjoy the entrances, people, because you're getting them rammed down your fucking throat. And then, after the entrances, and a bit of standing about in the ring, we get Shane McMahon's entrance again. Here comes money. Shane comes out to the fucking ring. And he tells us all that the match is going to be a lumberjack match. Like, are you fucking serious? A lumberjack match. A lumberjack match I don't think I've ever seen a title change in a lumberjack match, but fuck, we got it tonight. So, as soon as Shane O'Mac makes the announcement, the Raw undercard all makes its way to the ring. Everyone, they all start making their way there. A fucking lumberjack match. What? Miz started the match off by trying to cheat, try to hit Lashley with the belt, but it failed. Lashley then proceeded to throw Miz around for 5 minutes, which was actually entertaining to watch. Miz tried to escape the match a few times, but it failed. He would escape the ring. The good guy lumberjacks would throw him back in, but then he went out, tried to get help from the heel lumberjacks, who also threw him back in. It's like, aren't the heel lumberjacks supposed to be heels? It's a lumberjack match. Come on. I mean, I know it's like, it's unwritten wrestling rules, but the bad guys should be helping the bad guys, and the good guys should be helping the good guys. That's always how lumberjack matches have fucking worked. Come on, guys. Regardless, though, everyone was attacking The Miz. I don't think people like The Miz. I think that's just the story of The Miz. People hate him. The match felt like a squash, and that's cool with me. It shouldn't have been anything else with Lashley versus Miz. Miz is a bit of a joke as a wrestler. Lashley's a fucking machine. It shouldn't have been anything else. After about 5 minutes or so, Lashley got Miz in the hurt lock. Miz tapped, and Lashley actually won. Who knew? WWE actually delivered. I could not believe this. I was actually fucking shocked. I mean, they made this sit through 3 hours of convoluted shit to get there, but they delivered. The match was a squash. Meh. I enjoyed the squash. It's good seeing Miz getting beaten about, but yeah. In the end, Bobby Lashley is now your WWE champion. I mean, why was this needed though? Like, this is what just fucking fucks me off, right? Why was this needed? Like, Miz did not need to have that title for 2 weeks. It just did not need to happen. They could have easily, why did they not just blow off the Sheamus Drew match early at Fastlane? Because clearly they wanted to do that match originally, and then put Bobby Lashley versus Drew. Why they could have done this? There's no need for this. Like, the way they booked the last 2 weeks of the belt coming from Drew to Bobby, and now we're obviously, because this is going to lead to the speculated Bobby versus Drew McIntyre match. It's like, could they not have just booked Bobby Lashley versus fucking Drew and built that up for 2 months? Like, they didn't need this. They didn't need this story to get to where everyone believes they're going. I mean, we're going to have to watch WrestleMania to find out where this is going. But I think the money is on that the main event match is going to be Bobby Lashley versus Drew, with Drew regaining the title at WrestleMania in front of a crowd. Which, again, they could have just... I don't know. Why did Bobby Lashley not just win the Royal Rumble? Like, or why did they not just make the Elimination Chamber match for a chance to fight? Like, why did the Elimination Chamber match not have the same stipulation as the SmackDown one, where the winner got a title shot? There's so many other options that WWE could have went with that would have avoided having to give The Miz the belt and avoided the last... I mean, I genuinely hope that the 3rd hour of last night's Raw does a monster rating, because if it doesn't, it means that the last 2 weeks and 6 hours of WWE Raw, it was booked for no fucking reason, and it just was a waste of time. So, that was my review, my reaction on this week's WWE Raw. There was 2 good matches in it, but for the most, the show was just a pile of convoluted story that dragged out one match over 3 and a bit hours. So, if you've liked what you've heard, please hit the follow button or subscribe if you're on YouTube. I need you to help me get more eyes on this video, so share this out, share this to your friends, share this to your wrestling people. And if you disagree with me, tell me. Get angry. Go on Twitter. Call me a dick. Let's start an interaction. No, I would rather it wasn't heated, but hey, people like complaining. Complain. Feel free to complain about me. No, don't, please. That was stupid. Anyway, I'm going to leave this for now. That was me. I can't believe I managed to get this done in under 40 minutes. I'm going to go and do something else and purge the WWE-ness out of my head with a lovely, lovely game of Fire Pro Wrestling. See you all later, people.